Hi everybody, Cowboy Bob here at Heartline Ranch, watching my wife Kori as she's working on her pottery. Now, this is a cute little thing, and you guys will probably get a kick out of it, but she's making little turtles. And these little turtles, I'm telling you, are immensely popular with young kids. They just love them.
And older people, everybody actually, older people too.
Yeah. Well, tell me about these turtles and how this happened and what.
Well, I make pottery, and so I would be in shows, and people would come with their kids, and they'd say, "Oh, don't touch, don't touch," and I understand that because I used to do that with my kids, but I felt bad that they weren't allowed to touch anything. So the other problem that always bothered me too at shows is that I was usually at Native American shows because I'm Native American. I'm Navajo and Cherokee, and there'd be the elders that would come by and they'd look at my work and they'd go, oh, like this. They'd pick up a pot and they'd put it to their heart and then they'd set it down again because they couldn't afford it. And so little kids would come by, do you have anything for $4? And I didn't have anything. And it was starting to bug me that I had to turn people away, especially kids and the elders. They're my special spot. I can't turn them away good. So when I went home, I thought, oh, if I made little turtles, then if they dropped, so what? They probably wouldn't break. And I put faces on each of them. And I wasn't even thinking about it, but I think I'm doing the same thing with each turtle, but each turtle has a different face. So
Yeah, because you're not a machine. That you do these things.
This guy's kind of shy, kind of doesn't want to stick his head out there. And this guy is kind of quirky. My needle pushed sideways a little bit. So, they're all different. And so I make them up like this without their shells. Well, anyway, so I made about 12 of them the first time. Just thinking, if nothing else, when a little kid came by, I could just give them a turtle. Or when an elder came by, I could just give them a turtle because it's made out of scraps of my clay, and I wouldn't mind that. So the first day, first day I took them, there was a little guy that came by just like they always did. Do you have anything for $4? And I said, as a matter of fact, I do. I have these turtles. And he goes, oh, okay. And he bought one right away. And then his little sister wanted one. And then they went away. I didn't think anything more about it. And then pretty soon about 10 more kids came up. And within about 5 minutes, all of the turtles were sold. All these little kids with their money. I had one more turtle in the back that I was kind of saving to take home just to remember the day by. And this elder lady came by. And most people don't know about the Indian way, but I'm Navajo, and she was an elder that reminded me a lot of my grandma, with her traditional bun and her long skirt, and I wanted to thank her for everything she'd been through, because that's how all of us Native people were aware that our elders survived so we could survive. And so I handed her a turtle because she was starting to touch my other stuff, and I knew she'd put it up to her heart and then put it down because she couldn't afford it. So I handed her the turtle, and she was thrilled with it. And so then about 10 minutes later, her daughter came up and said, was my mother supposed to pay for that turtle? And I said, no, I just wanted to, she reminded me of my grandma. And I just wanted to thank her for being there at the show. Because we always thank our elders for being around. And so it started out that way. That so the next time I went to a show, I made 50 of them. And before, it was a 3-day show. Before noon on the first day, all 50 were sold. And it went that way. And people would go all over in my booth because I'd say, I noticed that all the faces are different. And they would pick up every single turtle in my booth and pick out the face that looked like what they wanted. And in the meantime, it got people to come into my booth, and so my sales started skyrocketing. And so I started always bringing turtles for good luck. Then people, when I went to the Denver Art Museum Native American show, somebody came up who was Japanese that I didn't think spoke any English, and he did. He said, "Oh, I have 2 of your turtles in my aquarium at home." And I'm like, "What? These turtles have made it to Japan." And I was like,
how'd they get to Japan?
because his granddaughter wanted turtles, and his mother had been at one of my shows and bought 2 turtles and took them back to Japan for his granddaughters. And she put them in the aquarium because one of her fish had died and the other fish was lonely. So she wanted to give her the turtle.
Did they have a lot of conversations?
They did, I guess they did. So anyway, it got so that after a year of doing this, people would come by and get their good luck turtle for their show. And then one lady had a whole collection of them. She bought like 20 of them. And she wanted it for her turtle collection. I mean, it just got wild. Somebody else came by and said, "Oh, you know, we have a ghost in our house that moves our turtles around. It was up there on the dresser, and now it was over on the table." And so now the turtles start taking on a life of their own, I guess. But I've had people on Facebook text me since they found out I was doing my pottery again, actually, and asking me if I'm going to do my turtles again. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting to do my turtles. This one is Fat Bertha because the turtle shell doesn't fit her body. Her body's too small for the turtle shell. But I left it alone because...
Let me get a little closer.
Yeah.
Show us that again, will you?
Okay. This one's Fat Bertha. You can see better on the backside. I made her shell too little, I guess.
Oh. Well, she just ate a lot.
Yeah, she just ate a lot. Or it could be she's
You need to
growing.
get her on an Atkins diet.
Yeah. Or she might be just growing too fast. I don't know. Anyway, I love these little turtles because they always bring a lot of conversation into the booth. You know, if somebody did something like help me carry in my pottery, I could give them a turtle. You know, and they're like $5 a piece, so it's real cheap. And if I end up wanting to give somebody something as a thank you, I can give them a turtle. So I like it just because of all the wonderful memories I have of. I didn't have to feel bad when somebody walked by my booth if they loved my stuff because I had something they could afford. And so the turtles, when they're fired the second time, they all have their own glaze on them. And so, now see, there's the body before the shell goes on. So I have the head. I haven't put the face on yet. I don't put the face on until the shell's on. So I make the little feet. And I put toenails on the little feet. Like that. That's the tail. And just make the little toes. And I had a turtle as a little kid.
Now, are you sure those are correct? Is that the exact amount of toes? How many toes does a turtle have?
Well, they have 4.
Do they really?
Yeah, my sister and I used to have little turtles. And I was so convinced mine was going to have babies because it was like putting its leg down in the mud, making a hole, sat over top of it. I just discovered it was a place that wanted to take a nap, I guess. But used to be turtles like this were real popular. Everybody had a little turtle. And so
yeah, actually, I think I had one in my house.
Yeah.
That I had, and people used to, kids all had lizards. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Salamanders and stuff.
Well, I had turtles.
But once the lizard got out of the
my mom would not let
out
me
of the
have a
bowl,
lizard.
that was it. No more lizards for me.
Yeah, no. My mom did not let me have lizards. And I wasn't so sure about it myself. But the turtles, the reason I know they have 4 is they have little toenails. And I can remember their little toenails, looking at them, and seeing their little toenails sticking out.
Okay. I'm sure we're all feeling a lot more educated now that we've learned that turtles have 4 toenails.
But turtles, and so they're gonna be at all my shows. Because this one's, I don't know what to name this one. This one's shell is way big. This one hasn't come out of
That guy's gonna get worn out carrying that load.
Yeah, I know. This one's ready to reach his prime. He's like gonna go into his shell. That'll make his little face. But they're always so much fun to pack around with me.
Well, we've been sitting around talking about, we're going to do a show in Pendleton, Oregon.
And at the Winter Wings Festival at OIT.
And a Winter Wings next Saturday.
And at the home show.
Yes, we are. And the home show in March in Klamath Falls. And it'll be interesting to see how these turtles go. And I was laughing at her with her, however you want to view it.
Yeah, laughing at.
We're talking about going over to Vegas to do a show there next year. And I asked her, how many of these turtles do you think you need to make to take to Vegas?
A whole gob of them.
So anyhow, this is a big news flash. You're getting to see how you make a turtle out of ceramic clay.
And I always sign the bottom with my initials. I have a new kind of signature now since I married Bob and I took on the name Crutcher. I have a K and a G like I used to, and a little C off to the right. Because it was the right thing to do to marry Bob.
There we go.
And if you find a turtle that doesn't have my initials, I either forgot to sign it or it's not mine. Somebody stole the idea.
Do you think there's really anyone out there making these turtles?
I doubt it.
Anyhow, they're cute. It's a lot of fun. And I guess we're going to have to go because time to feed some horses. This is Cowboy Bob here at the ranch at Heartline talking to Kori. Hope everybody has a good evening.
Bye, y'all.